So what we were doing is we completed what is Avijja or ignorance. So the ignorance is two folds. One fold ignorance is considering what is unreal as real, that is the six senses and the six sense objects, which comes is a real experience. And nobody can say there is no real experience. There is a real experience, but then it comes and goes, and that is not seen. And hence there is a sense of I. Like in I am seeing, I am hearing, I am tasting, I am touching, I am smelling. And then it's not about talking about I am, but there is a real feeling of I am. Right? And that's Avijja. That will only go at Arhat. So no matter how much I pretend that I don't have an ego, yes, there is no ego at the surface level or maybe some more deeper level, but the deep inside, I am this, is going to be there. Now we might argue, I don't think so, I have given up all the I and all that. And if somebody says you're a Sotapanna, and am I not feeling happy? I'm feeling very happy. Why? Because I'm going to exist, not in the apayas. And if somebody says, hey Vilas, now you're an Anagami, am I not happy? Yes, I'm very happy because I will not be having womb existence. But I want to exist. That's the thing. So the consciousness would like to exist. So Buddha has always been, commented or criticized for being an annihilationist. There's so many suttas where the monks accuse Buddha of teaching annihilation, because if nothing exists and then you're gone out of existence, it means the you is gone. Means that it is uchcheda, or rather annihilation. And this is a fear. That means the real being, instead of merging with Nibbana, that means I want to be in Nibbana, is completely extinguished. Extinguishment is Nibbana. And that is something which is not acceptable, not only to the Buddhist, to anyone. If somebody were to say, you will not exist, and the fear strikes in because I would love to exist. Now the consciousness is another thing. In its core is to survive. And survival instinct is definitely there in all of us. If that were not to be true, we wouldn't have left our countries and come to a different country to work or to live or to lead a life. We would have been happy in whichever place, however it was. So the moment I want to change something, that means I don't like the way it is, maybe with the government or with the society or with the place or whatever it is, that means that I want to survive in a better place or a better location or a better livelihood or something better. That betterment is the survival instinct. It's not about only humans. Everyone has it. Every being has it. So the survival instinct is what is bhava, to become. Second. So when I want to become something, there should be something there. Otherwise, what's the point in becoming? So then what is going to happen? Rohini, this one will be in English. Hope it is okay with you, because in the evening we are meeting for Hindi ones.
Namaste, क्या देखेंगे?
Namaste.
Namaste.
Yeah, this morning session is on English and the evening is on Hindi, but you can be here. Absolutely not an issue.
नहीं मुझे पता है इंग्लिश है, मगर मैं सोची कि थोड़ा सा समझेगा तो देख लेंगे.
Okay, absolutely. ठीक है. Fine.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so what we are trying to do is to establish, that means the consciousness has to get established. In general, the consciousness is unestablished, vinyanam anidasanam, that means unestablished consciousness. But in this case, it's established, and hence there is avijja to an extent that it wants to get established. The nibbana is when it is not established, but its condition starts when it is established. So when we say asankhata dhatu, or the quality of asankhata, means unestablished. Sankhata is created. In the real word, if we were to take it, it's from root word swayam krita in Sanskrit and sankhata in Pali, which means self-created. It itself has created something. Okay? And hence there is a suffering, because anything that is created will get destroyed. And the objective is not to get it destroyed, not to ensure that there is no destruction. So we come up with concepts and ideologies and ideas and opinions and views and all of that, because there is a survival mechanism, and it's a pain. So yesterday, while talking to Bobby, I was saying to him that when we see many of the YouTube videos, especially worldly things, they are passing pain to you. If you are not careful at all, then you end up taking something in the name of something. So the first thing I need to do is to stop feeling, stop taking the pains of others. So like Bobby has also followed up on the Mahayana teaching. So he feels that he has to do something to the world. So I was telling him that nothing can be done in the world. You can only take care of yourself. You can't take care of the world, because the world is made out of 6 senses. So you can't do anything for the world. The world cannot do anything to you also. It's your nature of how you are dealing with the world, rather than the world doing something for you. World will not do anything for you, nor you can do anything in the world. So what you can do is only pass metta, because that's another consciousness which is talking. So somebody is talking something on YouTube and it seems to be irritating, means he's not irritating me. I'm getting irritated because my mind is already irritated. So I'm following something which makes that irritation more and more. So I need to have a check that why am I following this video? As long as I want to create more irritation for myself, that means I'm liking the pain, so then I'm going to do it. So basically, Avijja is on that. There's an establishment of the consciousness on that video. So I see myself victimized. So I'm seeing that video which will show the victimization. So it manifests in me that I am the victim. So I shouldn't be the victim. I see the other person is a victim. So I don't want him to be victimized, as though I can do something about him. No, nobody can do anything. And that's the reason Buddha never used to interfere, even though, like he was taking example of Bimbasara, even though Ajatashatru was following Buddha, Bimbasara also was following Buddha. Ajatashatru was following the Nigantanatha Putta or Mahavira, and Bimbasara also was following Nigantanatha Putta Mahavira. He never interfered. He just used to say what has to be done. But he never interfered in Ajatashatru, that what is he going to happen if he were to kill his father. And in the Samanya Pala Sutta, he says that if not for his father, by now he would have been a Sotapanna. So he could have stopped him, saying that, hey, you know what? You're going to go next for the Anantariya Papa Kamma, you're going to get into the apayas. Don't do it. But he never. He just smiled at him when he said that I have kept my father in captivity. And And then, yes, sir.
See, when you say that, when he prevented Angulimal, and he and many suttas he prevented something also, right? Like, for example, I think he prevented some war, and later on he gave up. But then Angulimal, he was going to kill the last, 1,000 person, and he
Yes, there is a
actually.
reason. There is a reason. So if you really see, this is a case of ahimsaka. His Angulimala original name is Ahimsaka. So he promises his teacher that he's going to give him 1,000 fingers, because his teacher sends him on a mission to get 1,000 fingers as a faith to his teacher. So Buddha goes by the merit of the case rather than default settings. So if you have looked at the life history of Angulimala, whereas, or rather Ahimsaka, and then his intention was not to kill anyone, to be honest. In fact, he was a preacher of non-violence. He turned violent because he has to collect the fingers. And to his teacher, he has promised 1,000 fingers. So it was a right opportunity for Buddha to appear and stop him from doing where he would have gone into the apayas, because he never had that intention, killing. He would have killed his mother. He would have killed his mother, or he would have even killed his Buddha for the 1,000 finger. He had collected 999. Only one finger was pending. And in the same Jetavana, he has met Angulimala many number of times, but he has not spoken to Angulimala even once. While he was going on this finger counting spree, only when it touched the exact last number, then Buddha comes and stops him. And you look at this. What does he say to Angulimala? The first thing what he says, if somebody has reached a certain height, he'll start crying. This Angulimala or Ahimsaka says to the Buddha, why don't you stop? And Buddha says, I stopped long time ago, but you have not. And that's it. He didn't say anything. It's not good to kill your mother. It's not good to do this and do that and all that. And that was sufficient for Angulimala to burst in tears. Why? Because his mind was like that. So he has helped only those where he has seen their mind is not captivated by something, and he will trigger it so that they come to senses. So that made Angulimala to come into senses that what is he doing? And he throws the fingers, saying that I was in a trance. I didn't know what I was doing. And then the very first time he says, you are Ahimsaka. That is original name. Yes, Aryu.
Yeah, I guess if in this example, you take the Buddha helped intervene in this case to help, but on the flip side, you could say he let those 999 people die, right? Because he did not interfere any time before that. He only interfered in that last second.
Yes. So that's the reason Buddha is accused of being an annihilationist. Okay. There are so many suttas where you can see the annihilation thing, meaning he doesn't care. See, when even Vacchagotta, who became a follower of the Buddha, initially a lot of discussion between Vacchagotta and Buddha. He never answers properly. He never seemed to answer him in a direct thing. Either he keeps himself silent, or he'll say something which makes Vacchagotta totally worked up, and then he goes away, and then again he comes back. Again he asks another set of questions. Again he doesn't answer. Again he sends him away. And we say Buddha is a very compassionate person. What happened to his compassion? This poor guy is asking a question. Instead of solving his question, he's doing something. Why? Because avijja, ignorance, has many dimensions. One of it is existence. So I, you, or anyone, even if you were to ask anyone, even if he is a Buddha follower, would you like to exist? Artificially, he will say no, but deep within, he would like to exist. How? Just say to him, you're an anagami. Look at the enjoyment he gets out of that word anagami. Clearly shows that he loves to exist. And arhat is one who has ended existence. And hence it is difficult. It's not much difference between anagami and an arhat. But only thing is that he has to be ready for the suicide before his death. One final thing. That's unattainable. No, I have given up my ego. I don't have any ego. Die now. Die now. You know what? I'm an anagami. Die now. Can you do that? So we are happy being sotapanna, we are happy being sakadagami, we are happy being anagami, like that. Okay. We are happy being that. Or we are happy in sensuality. Meaning I am happy being a sensual being. That's because I love to enjoy through the senses. I, in the sense consciousness, would like to occupy the senses. As simple as that. So I'm seeing. What am I seeing? I'm seeing. What do you mean I'm seeing? This picture what I put is nice one. I'm seeing. I love it. But it is sensuality. There's colors. It's 100% color. No, I'm seeing Buddha. What Buddha are you seeing? It's a painting. Tomorrow they'll paint something else on that. No, they can't. Who says so? They can? Yes, they can paint. And if I go to this restaurant where I was sitting a few years ago, they would have changed by now. It's not a monastery. It's a restaurant up in Bhutan. Okay. It looks like a monastery. And there's a table down there where I'm sitting. There's a table. So I exactly took the picture where you would see a table like a monastery. There's a chair, exactly the chair, how it is. So yesterday I sat and looked at it. How should I make it look real? Avijja. So this is avijja. Each one of us will now imagine the way it should be. But this is a restaurant out of Bhutan. This is in Thimphu. When I was there a few years ago, we had a nice meal there. So I had taken this picture. So nice. Coming back to sankhāra. That picture is sankhāra. It's created one, prepared. So the restaurant is prepared in the mind. Okay, so how many sankhāras can be there? So it can have punya abhisankhara. That abhisankhara means that intention to do like this. So can be punya abhisankhara. That means I will not tell lies, I will not do this, I will not do that. I will not do, I will not do, I will not do, and not doing that is a punya abhisankhara. And forgetting to not to do that and doing what I shouldn't be doing is apunya abhisankhara. That means I would tell lies and I will have sexual misconduct. I will do this, I'll do that, like that. Goes on. 3 by body and 4 by speech and 3 by mind. So there's an intention in the abhisankharas. And then aninjabi sankhara. Aninjabi sankhara is that I would like to start with the first jhana, first attainment. So can I have the first attainment? Then sensual. Sensual is the touch and the smell and taste and like that. And instead of that, what I would do is, I would rather go on to the jhana. That's much more enjoying than the senses. Because seeing that the senses are not giving me anything at all doesn't make sense. So I start on the first jhana. And then the second jhana and the third and fourth, like that till the eighth jhana. If I were to stay in that state, I've created sankhāra, which is prepared. So I'm preparing. Again, the word sankhāra, kara or kara is to do. Sankhāra is to do something intentionally. These are the three sankhāras. And then there are three sankhāras which are automatic. It's a process driven. One is the body, which is asapasa, in breath, out breath, is a basic sankhāra of existence. There's a breathe in, breathe out, kaya sankhāra. And then vitakka vichara, that is debating and thinking, is debating of what? What should I do and what should I not do? What should I do? What should I not do? And that keeps on talking all the time. It's called mental chatter. And that is the vitakka vichara is the vachi sankhāra. So we might say that I don't speak, but you're speaking in the mind. 24/7, it's an FM channel which runs in each one of us, non-stop. I will go here, I will not go there, I will eat this, I will not eat that, I will wear this, I will not wear that, I will sleep here, I will not sleep there, like that. It only gets verbalized later. Verbalization means that the vitakka vichara is then brought about through the speech, through the mouth, or through the vocal cords. But the speaking has already happened in the mind. It's just coming out. Now, what is the vitakka vichara I am having right now? It is savitakka savichara. That means I have replaced the vitakka vichara with an intentional way of speaking in the mind, which is dhamma. So instead of the usual worldly things, I have replaced that with savitakka savichara. Now my thoughts are on dhamma. So this is for 1 hour or as many hours we are going to sit here. The vitakka is only going to be on the dhamma. That is what all I'm going to be debating is be on dhamma, and the vichara, the thoughts which arises also will be on dhamma. So what would happen to the person who is hearing? They would hear in a very calm tone, because dhamma makes the chitta calm. Mind is also called as chitta, and there is no English translation for the word chitta. So even for vijnana, you have to call it as consciousness, but it's part of mind. And then we have to keep only a mind, and we don't know which is the mind and which is what. So the chitta is the initial impression of the mind, which is like a light. So basically, if we were to bring the dhamma, there is a calming effect. So what you can do for yourself is that if you have got a dhamma friend, and if you consider me to be the dhamma friend, you can watch whether for that 1 hour, 1.5 hours, is there a calming effect on you? If yes, nothing to do with his voice or whatever, nothing to do with voice modulation, it is the dhamma which makes it calming. So you have the friend. Okay. It's called Kalyana Mitra in Pali, Kalyana Mitra in Sanskrit, and a dhamma friend in English. So if you get a dhamma friend, it should have a calming effect. Why? Because there is a dhamma. It's not just a friend, it's a dhamma friend. And hence, the punyabhi sankhāra will be there. So now you have an sankhāra. You could have spent your time on something else. Now you're spending time on this. So when you're spending time on this, it makes much more sense. It's not that you want to learn Dhamma. It's because it has a calming effect on you. So it draws to itself. Right? So that's how one gets into the Dhamma. So if you want to see the Buddha, it's in Dhamma. Yo mam pasati, so dhammam pasati. That means one who wants to see the Buddha sees in the Dhamma. So when Dhamma is said, if the mind is receptive, each chitta which arises then in that other person would arise with Dhamma. Yes, Eric, go ahead.
You just said it has nothing to do with the voice modulation, right? But let's say a person deep in Dhamma, even he's just doing some chanting without the other person understanding the language, it'll still have some calming effect, right?
Yes.
So do you say that's related to voice modulation, or even that is not?
No, their voice modulation, what I meant is that there are people who are doing mimicry, there are people who are singing, there are people who have a very good voice. So when you hear them, speakers, they make you feel captivated. That captivation has got nothing to do with Dhamma. That captivation is due to the voice modulation. Whether done in the studio or their voice itself is like that. But in general, if you meet a Dhamma person, even though his voice is rough, let's say it is shrill voice or some voice, still you would find it calming. Okay. So that is one thing we have to see. Otherwise, we believe that everyone would be then doing the voice modulation, right? So then there's no difference between a Dhamma person and a non-Dhamma person. See, let's say I am listening to a leadership talks, let's say. Very nice, like in the case of the Stephen Covey. His voice is very good. So when I hear to Covey's words, I feel he is a spiritual person. I think so. Why? Because it's very calming on me. But I don't know that it is a voice modulation what he has. Now we can argue, oh, if he's not spiritual, then he wouldn't have got that voice. In the past life, he would have been a spiritual person. And hence now he has this kind of voice. Maybe. I'm not saying no. But if you meet any Dhamma person in anywhere on the YouTubes, if you watch their videos, if they are truly Dhamma friends, meaning they are talking Dhamma, you would get captivated, irrespective of how their voice is. Yes, go ahead.
Sometimes some calming effect can even be through, let's say, texting, or that is also
fine. See, we shouldn't digress into something else. So when we say vitakka vichara, it includes all kind of mental, verbal actions, right? So when you are texting, you're thinking, or rather you're debating and you're thinking, right? You're debating what should I send, and you're sending. The intention is already there, right? The intention is already there. So when the other person receives the text, he would feel calmed, right? Like the Dhamma thing, what we are having, right? We are having this discourse on Paticca Samutpada. Now, I have only texted. I have not used my voice. But still, there is an effect. So if I were to type out pages of Paticca Samutpada, and if you were to read, you will have the same effect. Why? Because there is savitakka savichara.
That's how the sutta works, right? I mean,
that's how the sutta works. In fact, every sutta, you feel Buddha is talking to you. If you were to go in such a detail, you would feel that there is no Sariputta and Moggallana and other bhikkhus there, and you are sitting there and you're listening to him. You'll get that effect. I'll give you an example, live example. Now there is Karaniya Metta Sutta. Okay. It is in Kuddanipat, KN9, or KNP9, whatever that is. Okay. Now what you do is, you just take that. How you recite it is up to you because it's a gatha. But then if you were to understand 2 lines, forget about the whole. There is 2 lines. It is Mata Yata Niyam Puttam Ayusa Ekaputtam Anurakhi Evampi Sabba Bhutesu Mana Sambhavaye Aparimanam. 4 lines of this, which is actually 2 lines. What is it saying? Mata Yata Niyam Puttam, just like a mother taking care of a child, her only child. It's not children, her only child. Mata Yata Niyam Puttam. There's only one child which has got, not Eka. Niyam Puttam means that she at present is holding only one child. Mata Yata Niyam Puttam Ayusa Eka Puttam Anurakhi. She's praying, let my child live longer. I have only one child. Eka Puttam Anurakhi. Please protect me from losing this only child. If you really put it, you'll start crying like crazy because every being is like that. The next line it says what? Evampi sabba bhutesu mana sambhavaye aparimana. Now you have to cry because every being is losing life. Its existence is measured in number of days, which converts itself into number of years. So it doesn't matter whether it's a good person or a bad person or a arhat or a not an arhat or a sotapanna or a sakadagami or this or that. Death is certain. And it says, Evampi sabba bhutesu mana sambhavaye aparimanam uddham adocha tiriyancha. And if I were to stay in that way, Brahma viharam idam ahu. So if I do it, it is Brahma vihara meditation. So the Cheto Vimukti happens instantaneously. So what did I do? I did Punyabhi sankhāra. Using what? Vitakka vichara. So savitakka savichara piti sukha ekagata. First jhana, second jhana, third jhana, fourth jhana. I have attained only using what? 4 lines. Just 4 lines. Not that I have to study the entire Dhamma for that. Just 4 lines. Evampi sabba bhutesu mana sambhavaye aparimanam. That's all I need to do. So when I see Aryu or Bobby or Bhim Reddy or Milind or every person I'm seeing, can I pray for a single child? Like a single child. Mata yata niyam puttam ayusa eka puttam anurakhi. Anu is in accordance. Rakhi is rakshana, which means protection. Can you please protect this only child of mine? Now let's say I can do it. What happens? Instantaneously, the Brahma Vihara is experienced. Now you might ask, how? How stupid is that? Okay, let's look at this. This Abhisankhāra, the Punya Abhisankhāra, creates Anenja Abhisankhāra, which is, it's from 2 words. Inja means shaking. Abhi is Abhi, you know, it's a higher or near. And Sankhāra, you know what is Sankhāra. So the key word here is inja, to shake. Aninja, unshaken. So the chitta is not shaken. Now what I do is, this is what I had done it in VRI. when I was doing the meditation, when I had gone for this retreat, I started walking across the rooms where people were staying, and I started reciting this Karanyametta Sutta. 2 rounds, I couldn't stop crying. The whole place I was crying. And some people saw me, and I just wanted to shy away from them seeing. So I was reciting and reciting and reciting and reciting and went into the room. And a tremendous experience of relief. Because I see only a child, nobody else, no person there. So my objective was to cut off the nimitta of VRI. Otherwise, it creates a lot of mess for me. That I should not feel that I'm sitting in the VRI and doing meditation and a 10-day discourse and all that, or 10-day course. I basically thought that I have to do all of this. The whole idea is, the objective is to attain Nibbana. It's not about where I'm sitting and what I'm doing. So can I do that? So on the first day, I had irritation of Goenka saying in his voice, he's saying in some different way. So I was feeling, yes, Bhim ready.
As you mentioned about the crying and even the Aryu, because couple of times I have seen, why does it happen actually?
Why does it happen is that there are 4 reasons. There are 4 reasons. Number 1, the person by nature is emotional. That's the first reason. Second reason, he or she connects that to himself. There are people who don't connect to themselves. So let's say there is a very sad story, but he doesn't take it as for himself. He thinks, somebody would have done it. What is my problem? So nothing happens. But when the person takes it for himself, he sees himself in that, then the crying happens. Third major thing, the defilements, when they come on the surface and you are cleansing it, there is relief and it automatically brings in tears. This is on the Dhamma side. So 2 are, what I'm saying is on the worldly things, and the other 2 I'm bringing from the Dhamma side. Generally, when you are on Dhamma, you will cry. Why? Because you can see the danger, what you were in without Dhamma. And hence, the tears are the natural phenomenon. And the 4th important thing is that the delusion goes away. So when the delusion is going away, moha, you will see it much more clearer than any person. So the natural tendency is to come out of, or rather, to get out of this pain of holding it. So 2 from worldly things and 2 from the Dhamma. So the Dhamma eye opens up, a person will definitely cry. So what I find in Aryu, his crying is that it can be a combination of all the 4, or he might be generally having emotions and he takes it as himself, and then or plus the Dhamma is starting and then he cries. I have never asked him. It wouldn't be appropriate for me to ask him, hey, why do you always keep on crying? And then that doesn't make sense, but I enjoy his crying. Yes, sir, you go ahead. Nothing, okay. Milind, you wanted to say something? Okay. So I can now do the anenjabi sankhāra. Okay. What happens? There is tremendous amount of tear. So when there is tremendous amount of tears, and what happens? Your samadhi is established. So first Brahma Vihara, which happens, is Karuna, because it's the only child. It's the only child. So now you see every being as the only child, because if the consciousness were to depart at this moment, we don't know where it is existing. Let it exist in a better way. Let it not go into the wrong things. Even an ant, for that matter, or even the worms which are there in our bodies, which are feeding onto it. There at one point in time can be anyone. So may they get a better place to exist. Right? They let them not be in suffering. Hunger is a suffering. So let them not suffer out of hunger. Let them not suffer out of thirst. Right? And for every being, hunger and thirst are the two things which is key for survival. Nothing else is more than hunger and thirst. So the tears will fall. And with that, you have entered all the 4 jhanas. It's an easy way. I don't have to read so much on Dhamma. Just this much is sufficient. So when I was in BRI, that's the whole thing I was doing that. I started with Karaniya Matta Kusalena Yantam Santam Padam Abhisamecha Sakojucha Sujucha, like that. And then when this came, Mata Yata Niyam Puttam, that word itself, the tears starts to flow. I couldn't stop it. Even now I'm feeling really emotional, but that's true. Why? Because now you can see there's no one there. So that for those number of days, including Goenka and the people, the assistant teacher and those people who were serving and the volunteers there, the effort they were putting, and then the people who had come there to practice are all same. There is no difference. That means it's such a nice thing that somebody has provided that kind of an environment. So what you get? You get only metta. What else can you have? So how it helped me? It helped me in 2 ways. One, if there is a sankhāra, that is punyābhi sankhāra. Then it is aninjābhi sankhāra. So now I can establish myself in the 9 jhanas at once. And that's what my whole mission of doing that. Whatever I'm doing and in the house, I should be able to do that over there without any distinguishing. I'm now in the retreat or I was here at my home. No, nothing like that. It should be the same. Absolutely the same. No distinguishing, no differentiation or anything. So the sankhāra is vachi sankhāra and the kaya sankhāra, asapassa, and the vachi sankhāra, vitakka vichara, is on Dhamma. So then the mano sankhāra or the chitta sankhāra is what? Feeling and perception. What am I perceiving? Buddha Dhamma. I could have perceived the worldly things and now I am perceiving Buddha Dhamma, so which is better? It's better. So now what happens? Whatever is happening right now will happen in any place. Place doesn't matter at all. Should I go for another 20 days or 30 days or 40 days or whatever number of days? Yeah, you can do it anywhere. Going there or not going there is just a word. But basically, you are seeing yourself in everything. So it brings in akinchayatana easily because vinyananchayatana happens. Then neva sanya na sanyayatana, neither you are conscious nor you are unconscious. And then when you cross that boundary where the perception falls down completely, the 6 senses closes. And when the 6 senses closes, there's nothing to feel. So there's no feeling and there's no perception. That means the mano sankhāra is completely gone. So first one is the vachi sankhāra, then the second one is the kaya sankhāra, and the third one is the mano sankhāra or the chitta sankhāra, which closes. Now it is there in Chula Vedala Sutta also, that how does it happen? So before you go for a sleep, you just have a nimitta that I will wake up at this time. And automatically the chitta sankhāra starts first. Then there's a feeling which comes. And then you start perceiving. And then the vachi sankhāra starts. And then the kaya sankhāra. It's a very, very nice way of doing. Just with Brahma Vihara or just getting into Karuna, Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekha, you can have a Chitta Vimukti, which is also there in the Mahavedala Sutta. So for that, you require to do Abhisankhāra. So if I am removed or done the sankhāra of removal of the dasa akusala, 10 immoral deeds, which in the VRI or in that retreat, it is automatic. You can't speak. So the 4 vachi sankhāra are gone. You can't kill, you can't steal, and you can't have a sexual misconduct. 7's gone there. Then there's no avijja. That means whatever they give you, you just have it. And you start to feel gratitude that somebody is serving you while you are sitting and meditating. What else you require? You're so lucky person. And the final, and this next one, vyapada. There's nothing to get irritated because so much facilities are given. And that too for free. You can pay how much ever you want, but you will never get this kind of an environment. So 9 things out of 10. Michaditti, something will go with Goenka's lecture every night. So your mind changes. So you are relieved of any moral deeds which can happen while sitting at house or wherever it is. In the retreat, there are no 10 immoral deeds. So if the 10 immoral deeds have reduced, you should have samadhi. Because sila is not broken. The sila is not broken, the samadhi should happen. And if samadhi happens, a panya should happen. That's a natural progress. So the thing is, if I were to have no immoral deed, isn't it that samadhi should be the same irrespective of where it is? It is. And does that mean that panya should only happen here or there? No, there's nothing called here and there. Na ida, na hura, na ubhayamantare. No, not this, nor that, nor anything in between. So if I want to attain the fruits of Nibbana, what I need to do? Don't conceptualize anything. So just be there. So the Abhisankhāra is to stop. Stop what? Stop preparation. So then you get only 2 sankhāras. In this Punya Abhisankhāra and then you get Aninja Abhisankhāra. Inja, like I was saying, that it is shaky. There's nothing to shake. No shaking. So then what I did is the doha which was said by Goenka. So there was a speaker in front of me. In the room, what they had given, I had a speaker. Wherever I sit, that his doha is to come. So I wanted to try it out. What happens? Is there an irritation which comes because sound, so loud sound? Because they want that entire place to be heard of doha. So then that is his sayings. So then what I did, I sat near there. Now I have to do animitta of hearing. So then you do animitta of hearing. Then what happens? The 6 senses closes. Animitta brings in apanihita. Apanihita will get in shunyata. So animitta, apanihita, shunyata, nibbana. So the ragadkhayo, dosakhayo, mohakhayo. The raga dosa will come if there is a symbolization. So if I don't symbolize anything, then the 6 sense bases have got nothing to do. There's no chara. Chara means to eat, like fodder. There's no fodder. So when there's no fodder, you're released. Immediately released. It doesn't take time. Yes, sir.
Just now my wife gave me call. She wanted to bring something immediately. Just I quit, So I got an irritation. So is it possible to do animitta in such cases also?
Yes. We need to do animitta when it happens. So the best thing is wife, right? Let's take wife. You have a nimitta of wife, right? You have a nimitta, symbol. So you have made it either as irritating or non-irritating. Only 2 things, right? Meaning you're liking or disliking. Some words of your wife is liking because you agree with that.
but I was thinking, because many times I have instructed her not to give me call in the morning session, but she gives. So wife is not the actual cause here. What I was thinking, oh, this is a great nuisance for me, I'm losing my Dhamma. This was my concern actually.
No, you anyway, it is getting recorded, the video would be there. So you don't have to get irritated by that. Or you can even call me later. So take it that way, that you are not
Yeah.
losing anything.
Yes.
Start with that. Because
Yes.
you can always call me. Or worst case, you can always hear to the video for that much portion.
Yeah, yeah.
Instead of getting irritated. Right? And then Animitta here, start with Metta. Metta Bhavana. How do you do it? Like the 4 lines what I recited. Mata Yata Niyam Puttam. Ayusa Eka Puttam Anurakhi. You just practice this. See, all beings are existing as long as consciousness is there. Your wife is existing so long there is consciousness in her. So it doesn't matter whether you get irritated, not get irritated, if that being loses the consciousness. Then who is there to give you anything? You would cry. So take that. Mata Yata Niyam Puttam Ayusa Eka Puttam Anurakhi Evampi Sappa Bhutesu Mana Sambhavaye Aparimana. Mana Sambhavaye. Mana means measurement. Mana also means vanity. Mana Sambhavaye. You create in such a way. Mana Sambhavaye Aparimanam. You cross over. That means your mana covers everyone now. It becomes vanitylessness. Right? Eso na mama, eso naham asmi, eso name atta. The vanity is in the middle. Eso na mama, eso na aham asmi. Actually, asmi mana is there. So what to do with that is broaden it. Instead of trying to fight to remove it, broaden it. Everyone is your children. And only one child. Not many children. Only one child. And that's it. So sometimes, like my wife asked me or somebody asked me that why am I, like in the case of Ashutosh or in the case of you also, Bhim Reddy and Aryu and Shreyas, until you get it, or whenever you call me, I will keep on answering, irrespective of whether I'm doing something or not. Like yesterday, Bobby called me, so we started. Now what happens? Or even with Milind. So is that, or even with Ravindra here, is that at that moment, I see it like I have only one child. So I exactly do that. So it becomes more overwhelming. Okay. So till I'm done with it, or till the person feels that, okay, so I don't have any kind of, I'm not having this favoritism that I will do this to this person, I will not do that to that person. Be it Anusha, be it May, be it Shreyas, be it Bhim Reddy or whoever it is, it doesn't matter to me. As long as it's Dhamma. Because for me, these 2 lines have really changed of the Karaniya Metta Sutta. In fact, this is one sutta, to be honest. is that in 2018, when we had got an opportunity to serve Dubai Princess and my partner in Ladakh, we had gone to one place, just a small place with one monastery. We wanted to go to a monastery, but we couldn't go to the monastery. But he said that I will take you on some other direction. It was a very nice place, very isolated. Nobody there except for me and my partner. There was these prayer flags, these Tibetan prayer flags. And then I was playing this song of this one, Karaniya Metta Sutta, along with that. I forgot that. So 2 suttas I was reciting and reciting and reciting and reciting continuously. Okay. And then while we stopped there, I couldn't stop crying. And for the very first time in my knowledge, I've cried so much in front of someone that he stopped the car, sat on a rock, not knowing what to do. And I'm sobbing. So he doesn't want to disturb me, but we are getting late. Actually, we have to go back to Leh. It's almost turning 6 o'clock, and it's November month. So darkness starts at 4:30. So we are at 6 o'clock. And at that time, the roads were not that good. So we have to drive back. And he is a very shy person. So he didn't want to say anything to me. So I'm crying and crying and crying. And he waited for half an hour. Then he said, get into the car. It's getting late. That's the only word he spoke. And I'm still crying. He didn't talk to me for 2 hours. So I've cried for 1.5 hours. Not exaggerating, but that's truth. It was such a experience of both of the suttas. So it took too much of trouble. But then it was very easy to get into the jhana. It was most easiest, I could say, out of my personal experience. This one was the most easiest because it was having anenjabi sankhāra. No shaking. So if we were to do animitta easily, you can do it using these 2 lines. Mata yata niyam puttam, ayusa eka puttam anurakhi, evampi sabba bhutesu, mana sambhavaye apariman. And the effect of that is you get into Brahma Vihara. And Brahma Vihara meditation will give you Cheto Vimukti. So you don't have to go for Panya Vimukti as such. You can do Cheto Vimukti. So this is all about sankhāra. So I've covered the entire sankhāra today, which I wanted to cover and we couldn't cover it properly. So any questions? Bobby, anything you want to say?
See, you are talking about that 4 lines in Karaniya Metta Sutta. So you are saying like with that entire sutta or just these 4 lines?
Just 4 lines. Just 4 lines. Just this 4 lines.
So,
see, if you want to enter into Brahma Vihara meditation, these 4 lines would help.
Yeah, even that lines, I don't know much Pali, but I heard this sutta many times. But in English, when I read that, it was so striking for me, like how one protects and one mother protects his own only child. And that way, you have to radiate metta to entire beings.
Yes, so if you truly do that, you can't stop crying.
Yeah, I also get these crying moments sometimes, but not like when. Maybe sometimes when I read a sutta or when, see, as you said, when Angulimal was stopped, and he saw, I have stopped a long bike, now you stop. When I hear all those things, that lines, I sometimes tears comes in my eyes.
Good. So you have to develop that. You should develop that tears. What happens is that if you were to develop those tears, you shouldn't stop it. You shouldn't feel.
That tears is connected with the metta. It is mudita.
Yes,
it is
yes. Not only mudita. Actually, what happens is you are getting a lot of karuna.
Karuna.
Okay, first thing comes is karuna. So you get compassion. Okay. So when you get compassion, automatically it draws in you that may all beings be happy.
Okay.
Okay. So, like, let's say I'm watching one video of somebody and he's doing something. Hello.
He's my friend, I see he's my Kalyana Mitta for last 8 years. And we were practicing meditation together. He's Vilas, and yesterday, actually, I had a chance to talk to him.
Yes.
And he converses 1 hour, this. I think, is it every day or just
Every
once
day,
in a
every
week?
day. Almost every day.
Then he comes in English, and then he whenever somebody calls, he's ready to talk. All this. I don't know. I'm just feeling so happy.
Very nice to meet you. Thank you.
So
Was that? I couldn't hear you.
Very nice to meet you.
Yeah, same here. Same here. Good to meet you.
He's a Buddhist, by birth. So he has actually the suttas and all what you are reading now, Karine Metarura. I think from him I heard it first.
Okay. Very nice.
Yeah, he used to chant we used to chant together, and I remember all these words, So I remember all these words and everything. So I was just waiting for him that he will not miss this, but he came now.
Okay. Good. So I couldn't get his name.
He is Sajal Barua. He's from Bangladesh.
Okay.
He's from Bangladesh, but it is in Chittagong, there is a big group of Buddhist people.
Yes, I know that.
Okay.
I mean, Chittagong is the only area where you'll find a lot of Buddhists. Otherwise, you will nowhere in Dhaka you don't find much Buddhist.
No, not many.
I had a friend from Bangladesh, so I know a lot about something about Bangladesh, if not all.
Have you heard about Banabande? He always talk about Banabande.
Yes, I know him. I've heard about him.
His body has been preserved by Thai king.
Okay.
My Dhamma started from him.
Okay.
Very
He met him many
very
times.
strict monk, and
Very
a lot of spirituality I've seen from him. So I was very motivated by him. Very strict. So he could even read your mind. So he tells you. So a lot of story happened around me with him. I've seen that. How he actually tells you. You don't do this. And then I see, he's telling my mind. So you don't do this, you don't do that. If you do that, you will be in trouble. So and whoever doesn't listen, he get in trouble. So he was very, very wise monk I met in my life.
Good.
So my started from him. He invited me to be a monk actually. So when I was 20s.
Okay.
And unfortunately I couldn't because I didn't have a father. My father died early age. I had a lot of responsibilities, so I couldn't leave my sisters behind. So and he said, okay, you go to the dukkha, it's all dukkha, you go. So he invited me. Unfortunately, I couldn't, So then he said, okay, then you go to overseas for a study. But then I couldn't believe because I was not even trying to go overseas that time. And then after 1 year, naturally happens, I got visa to come in Australia for a study. And I was shocked, he predicted my future a year ago. And then I realized, he's not a normal monk, actually very outstanding monk that I actually met. Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. Good to meet. Good to meet. So you have a very good Kalyana Mitra for you. So, I mean, now you can be a monk inside your mind. I think their video is frozen.
I think they're frozen this one.
Yeah, they're frozen. Good one. So let's wait for a couple of minutes.
They got into samadhi.
Yeah, they got into instant samadhi. So are you,
Aninjabi.
what's that?
I said aninjabi.
Aninjabi, yeah, they are not shaking.
Yeah.
Not even
Sorry, you were saying something?
No, only these two lines is sufficient for that aninjabi sankhāra.
Yeah, perfect. What does niyam mean? Niyam.
Niyama is regulation.
Regulation. So what is mata yata niyam?
Mata yata niyam puttam. That is, this mother has been given with a child.
How do you understand niyam in this context?
Niyama is she has to regulate a child, right? She has to bring up a child.
Oh, okay. Like a raise a child.
Raise a child. Ayusa eka puttam anurakhi. So she has only one child where the life is going away. Ayusa is ayushya, means lifespan.
Is Ayusha? Oh, is it indicate with the kid, not with her own life? Usually it says with her.
Ayusa eka puttam anurakhi. Ayusa, like we here in India, we used to, not now, today, we never used to say, oh, Sajal Barua.
Yeah, usually the translation says it's with her own life. She's
Yeah, they put it like that. Saying, Sajal, before you went off, I said you can be monk in your mind.
Yes, yes.
You don't have to be physically a monk. See, there are two kinds of monks. One who is physical, one who is mental. A mental monk is much better than a physical monk, because he can penetrate Dhamma in both ways. Meaning he can penetrate it in the family life and also penetrate in the worldly life, in the non-worldly life. Like I was telling yesterday to Bobby that during the Buddha time, there used to be patronage for the bhikkhus. That means if you are a bhikkhu, everything is taken care. Like what is done by Goenka today, where you have the retreats and you go there, they serve you, basically. So you don't have to do anything. They basically serve you, and you are supposed to give them the dana of the Dhamma, and that is sufficient. Today's world is not like that. You need to make yourself as a living. So it becomes very tough. So if I were to join a monastery, which I don't know what kind of monastery it is, so managing their tradition or their obligation itself becomes an overwhelming activity. So now to understand what that is, it will take some time. So that will be like losing my precious time, because death can come any moment. It is not going to say, hey, Vilas, okay, I understand your problem, so let me give you some more time to get settled in that monastery, and then you tell me when you are ready, I will take you. No. So I can't be wasting time at all. Every moment is precious. So I need to extract as much Dhamma as possible, whether in lay life or recluse or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. So nothing is more when compared to being in Dhamma. Everything has to be stopped in the mind. But I can still go about doing my business, if whatever profession, etc., that makes sense. But then death can be there at any time. So I can't be heedless about it or really careless about it. So appamadena sampadeta. That means no pamada. Pamada is carelessness. So shouldn't be careless. Doesn't matter whether I didn't become a monk, fine, but now I have. I can be a monk in the mind and keep on doing whatever I'm supposed to do on the business front or on profession front or whatever it is, because that's about earning for a living. Fine. So do well.